There, mics are hot, video's hot. I'm hidden behind a microphone. Not anymore. Now it's hidden behind my black shirt. Good day, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Marijuana Man. It's Wednesday here in Vancouver. Not too sure what day it is where anybody else is. Can't probably be sure. Might be your Friday. Hard to keep track of the everybody's calendar. But yeah, I am here smoking some fine marijuanas. Not all of which I can identify anymore, but some little bit of train wreck going on. A little bit of that, whatever that was. Mango maybe, something. But ain't too shabby. But it's not legal marijuana.
Oh.
No.
How could you tell?
Well, because the person who sold it to me is turning a profit.
Oh.
Ooh. Ooh, too soon? Well, certainly all over Canada, when it comes to the cannabis news, is that everybody in sight is losing billions of dollars. Losing billions of dollars. Which is fairly unusual, I gotta say. But
It's a different business model.
yeah, the Ontario provincial government announced that they have lost $45 million in just like 5 months.
Yeah, so far.
So far. How long has it been since cannabis was legalized?
October 17th. So.
Which year?
Last year, right?
Really?
Yeah.
It's only been a year? Oh my God.
Burning
It
through.
feels like we're living in hell or something. Wow. Well, I'm stunned by that news. I give up. Let's end the show here.
It's legal.
But it's only been a year? It feels like 10. That's never a good sign. All right, if something feels longer than it is, that's not a good thing. But what? Ontario government fucking $45 million they lost on sales. Well, how many sales did they have? 69 fucking million, like that. $69 million worth of weed they sold, and they lost 45 million of it. They didn't lose it. They wasted it, more like it. It's taxpayers' money, too. It's not the government lost anything. They lost your money for you by being just so inept and overspendy, if you will. Oh no, let's spend as much as we possibly could. How many millions did they spend? 10 million on stores that didn't even open?
Yeah, didn't even know.
Right, because the change in government changed the policy of it wouldn't be just government stores, so that cost $10 million, that decision, for the taxpayer. So, what? Doug Ford government comes in and changes that policy, and they're left holding the bag on all these properties and all this money that they had spent already, committed, gone, overspent, way overspent on everything, of course. This is what they do. So what? Every provincial government across Canada so far is just crying how much money they've lost since the legalization of cannabis. Like instantly have lost so much money right in front of the world. You go, wow, what is going on? And all the big players in the industry are recording astronomical losses as well. What happened? So, but the fervor over the industry of cannabis continues, right? Although, I don't know, you read stuff, I read stuff in Forbes and Bloomberg, and they're going, uh-oh, like what's going on here? These companies are not really showing that they have the value that they've been given in the world, and they're not showing up with the goods ever. Now, I don't know, what the Ontario government claimed was the reason they lost $45 million. Like, holy fuck. How many
They
stores?
still bought weed.
They don't have any stores themselves, do they? Not too many. They can't have too many brick and mortar stores here because they went to a lottery system before they had any. They didn't have any up till then, did they? Was there
No.
until the first lottery?
Lottery was the first one that happened.
So, like, really? What were you doing? So, and that was only just like a few months ago. It could have only been a few months ago that this went on. Right? You go, what the fuck? $45 million, bang, gone, done. Thanks for nothing. No, get out of the industry. You're going to cost Canadians too much money to be there. You're not worth the effort. The alcohol gaming commissions across the land cannot fucking be trusted to do anything efficiently or, honestly. Really? Like, really? There was this international cannabis business conference. Did you go to that?
I did go to that.
And what was that like?
My favorite thing was there was a company that had hemp plastic. That was really good. It was like strong. In terms of weed, it's not a lot of nothing else.
That was the only thing. That was the only thing.
Yeah. It was the short version. Some nice things on the panels. Dory was on, and Conrad was on. Sensible things were said, even in some of the other panels. But yeah, didn't see a lot of weed.
No, nor would they probably be talking too much about all the losses that everyone is recording, or explain why Canopy Growth would report a loss of $1 billion, over $1 billion.
I did meet a guy who loved that he owned the buildings that a bunch of lottery winners had, and they had to pay him rent, and so he was thinking about investing in more licenses. He was tickled pink. He had a good hard chuckle.
Well, even the licensing scheme in Ontario at this moment is held up in the court of law because what a fixed fucking spinning wheel this is. It's like going to a fall fair and throwing knives at a fucking right? Step right up. Hit the chicken. Sorry for all you chicken killers at fall fairs. I didn't mean to offend. But where was I going with anything I was going to say?
Well, it was such a rigged lottery.
Oh yeah, like it was so fucking one company that is actually the one that's taken them to court just stuffed the fucking lottery with their multiple applications for the same address. Like lots and lots and lots, right? And they actually won quite a few, 7 out of 42. Something like that, which is pretty high ratio in a fucking lottery run by the government.
That's what he had done. I don't know if he had got extra people, but he had got a license and then immediately had been offered to sell it.
Of course.
So he sold his license, but he kept the
Yeah, that's
Wow.
instantly what happened. But this outfit, I can't quite remember their name, won 7, but the government then summarily rejected each one of their applications for having not submitted proof of having a $50,000 line of credit quick enough. I think is the issue, the crux of the matter. And were denied their licenses. So I think the whole process is being held up because of that. I don't think the people, anybody who would get a license because those other 7 were disqualified, have gotten anything yet either. But oh no, it's just a fucking shim sham of, I don't know. I can't say that it's legalization. It is, but perhaps it's not what we want.
I asked him, I said, would you buy a lottery ticket? And he started laughing. Of course not. And I said, well, that's why you're in the best position. Someone bought your lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, I laughed.
No, this is what happened. That's why they call it a lottery, is because you have very big winners, right? And you can, I guess it's like any lottery, you can buy as many tickets as you want. And there was no restriction on that to complicate any matter whatsoever. But I guess they felt that was a fair way to go, considering those individuals who could only afford to go the one time, but who did not get a license. But it doesn't really matter. They're still only vying for a government license to be an antiseptic little shop.
Yeah, you still have to run the shop. That's the thing.
You still gotta push through the government weed. Right? So what's the difference? Right? Don't really care because it's no fun. And complying to all of Health Canada's regulations is complying to Health Canada's regulations. As far as I'm concerned, Health Canada, for my whole fucking life, as an arm of the government, has been my oppressor when it comes to cannabis for my entire life. Between them and the police, they have rained down prohibition on us. So now, when they come up with their fucking feeble example of what they call legalization, it only is supported by the continued prohibition. Prohibition didn't stop, hasn't stopped, didn't go away. Right? Nobody's talking about that. Cannabis is legal in Canada. Cannabis is prohibited in Canada. Right? These regulations that they've drummed up is prohibition. Continued prohibition. Now I looked it up. Prohibition defined as the forbidding of something. The action of forbidding something is what prohibition is. It's not a thing unto itself. It is someone forbidding me to do something, especially by law. So that's what prohibition really is. The law is the bad part. The forbidding, yeah, well, you can't be forbidding things in our world without backing it up with some consequence. So, I get it. But you cannot have the action of forbidding if you don't have a law to back it up. And we do still. They forbid me to have cannabis here at the outset. Exceptions come later. But at the beginning here, cannabis is illegal still, at the threat of nasty things done to you through the law. So, I'm not allowed to possess, manufacture, or retail cannabis in this country. That's prohibition. isn't it? Not allowed to do that. But they get around it by inventing this third kind of marijuana. In the beginning, there was marijuana. Then there was medical marijuana. Now there's legal marijuana. So many differences that they just changed the name here. Changing the name accomplishes quite a few things, as it did with medicinal or medical marijuana. It accomplished quite a few things for those who were in need, and it helped just by changing the name. It's pretty good. So now legal marijuana, when I looked up the definition of what is legal, it said something like that which conforms to the established rules, or a law permitting that it's okay. Right? I paraphrase Merriam-Webster. Who was a lovely woman, by the way, Merriam-Webster.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Bit of a drinker, but and had so much to say. Real chatty.
The whole book. The whole dictionary.
Oh, we're Miriam herself. But if cannabis is considered to be legal because it conforms to established rules, then I think the rules came first in the issue. The rules come first. The prohibition stays in place, except they added an except to prohibition. Except you can get a license, but you must conform to the rules. Now that's pretty normal for life, isn't it? Isn't everything about that, really? And I get it. But the rules are coming from my oppressor, Health Canada. Health Canada maintains that cannabis is dangerous and presents a public health and safety issue. And this is why they have constantly said that it needs to be strictly regulated. Right? Now, I don't know. Unless I'm wrong, I think cannabis doesn't hurt you. Oh, wait. Like, really, I am very serious. Unless I'm wrong, I think cannabis doesn't hurt you.
Well, you'll know by the end of that joke. You've survived so far.
Yeah, at the end of another 50 fucking years of smoking and meeting 1 million people in my lifetime who have never been hurt.
Well,
But my point is, they're lying about the dangers of cannabis. They have always done that. Always lied about the potential dangers of cannabis to purport and support prohibition. They did it when cannabis was completely illegal. Right? Now it's just partially illegal, unless you conform to the laws and regulations that my oppressor has come up with. I'm not thrilled about that in the fucking modern era, quite frankly. Like, if we haven't learned anything from history about this kind of stuff. But, of course, they refuse to consider the notion that cannabis is not dangerous and shows no evidence whatsoever that it is. They're not too concerned about that. Health Canada hates cannabis, says it's dangerous, and it must be regulated in such a way that it is treated, grown, processed, treated again, and then packaged like it's anthrax. like, packaged to look like and hidden away like a dangerous prescription drug or something, right? Look, that's exactly what it looks like to me in all respects. So, they're only backing up their lies by creating regulations that would present cannabis as a potential hazard. It's the only reason that they came up with those regulations is to support their lies. They've always done that. So, what about the industry that just went fucking berserk on the planet? Health Canada wants to hide cannabis away and restrict access. Of course, it's only to the kids while we restrict access to you adults. Huh? What? What else don't you want kids to have that I don't get? Nothing. Pick anything that you don't want kids to be near and tell me that I can't go out and easily obtain all of this stuff as an adult anyway.
No. Liquor. Fireworks. Firearm.
No, it's every time out of their mouths, it's protect the youth. Stop organized crime. Well, they created the organized crime by having the prohibition. The value of cannabis and the value and potential worth of these companies is based solely on the idea that it should be at prohibition prices. Right? It's like the creation of this industry was like they created it one day and they are to never look back. Never look back, because you will see what you have created is not right. But so the rules are created by my oppressor, and there's been lots of oppressors throughout history, and I didn't go along with the oppressor's rules before.
Well,
why would anyone now?
Well, now there's paperwork, Chris.
What kind of paper? Is it that kind of paper that looks like plastic and has fucking numbers on it? That's the only difference. 2 years ago, when it was completely illegal, why then did I not join the RCMP to get a piece of the prohibition money action, of which there was millions handed out over time to the cops for enforcement? That's how the prohibition industry got started. And it continues today with now what they're calling the cannabis industry. This and nothing having to do with cannabis whatsoever. But the potential danger. Been saying potential danger my whole life, and there isn't any. How do we get them to shut the fuck up? How do you get them to stop saying this without at least being challenged to come up with some sort of proof? It's just sad and sadder, right? So it's very difficult for me to want to support or get involved in the new industry because it's created by my fucking oppressor based on lies about cannabis that doesn't hurt anybody. And in my head, I equate that to the idea that if it was readily and freely available and treated as a substance that doesn't hurt you, none of this would have occurred. None of it, but certainly not here in the modern era where you have got the opportunity to create an industry, if you will, and why they thought they could, or why anyone thought they could. no one's ever done it before in my life. Out of the blue, somebody just plunked a fucking, this is going to be an industry? No. And politicians given the reins to do it? Oh my fucking God. What a disaster it is, and as a result of that only, and because they need to continue to reinforce their lies, this is why we have all these stupid fucking laws all over it, which have ruined the substance already. Substance is ruined by their stupid over-regulations. So, the conformists, if you will, get a license from Health Canada that because it's an exclusive license, you know, like in whoever got the first license right away. Oh yeah, right. Canopy growth.
They were the first.
So way ahead of everybody else, them and Tilray, right, have this huge fucking market advantage to take advantage of the advantage only. It's the only reason that they're worth so much more than everybody else, because they had a huge head start on it. A head start they, in my mind, quite frankly, they did not deserve, if you were to look at creating an industry. Both Canopy Growth, or then Tweed and Tilray, had the worst reputation for providing cannabis, I don't know what, of all time, and produce the worst fucking weed I've ever seen. Something really wrong with it. And consequently, those two companies were dealing in a market that was medicinal at the time. Nobody wanted to buy from them. And only 9% of medicinal users ever bought weed from them. So they weren't successful even then. So it's kind of sad in an industry business kind of way. All these people are talking about the cannabis business. Well, how about the business of not fucking doing that? Right? How about you wouldn't, if you're trying to create an industry, why don't you just say from the outset that you're trying to create a really bad industry? That you have no intentions of this to be good or anything to do with cannabis. It has to be all about because it's so bad. Gross. So yeah, it's fucked, really. As far as I can see, I don't see any redeeming factor in it whatsoever. But the lure is money, right? There's been so much money. It didn't see, even though Health Canada here takes the position by virtue of their regulations and rhetoric that cannabis is to be hidden away and access is to be restricted. Yet, the companies that they have awarded licenses to went public.
The children aren't going to buy
They
the stock.
they went, yeah, but they went public. They were able to yell cannabis out and the virtues of it at the top of their lungs. And they did. It became the darling of the fucking Silicon Valley fucking idiot crowd. But yet, they were able to be the fucking stars because of this. The biggest fucking money. Right? And they had no problem with that. Making cannabis famous.
It was famous before that.
No, but they're trying to restrict it. Why would they create an industry that all of a sudden exploded in the media as being the fucking thing? The excitement. The industry isn't allowed to have excitement about cannabis. Why could the stock market be allowed to? Huh?
kids, they'll say.
Wrong kind of stock, right? Different stock they're talking about is okay. Cannabis stock, but the real cannabis stock isn't. It's a potential hazard and needs to be overregulated. So yeah, Health Canada, it's all about public health. Not just public safety, but public health. So, here again, Health Canada, who gives the licenses to the industry, are okay with them getting in bed financially and in business with tobacco, alcohol, and pharmaceutical industry. Huh. Now, I can appreciate Health Canada's mistake about saying that pharmaceutical industry is healthy, but the other two? Come on. Health Canada, in fact, says they're both very harmful. But, you know, it's business. It's just business. Come on. When we go home at night, we're nice people. It's just business. I've never bought that line in my life.
No, that's
right?
saying anything. No, it's just Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm only screwing you over because it's Wednesday. You know. It's just Wednesday. Show day. So, you know. I hate fucking business. Really, I always have. Such a smarmy fucking bunch of slime shit.
You like trade.
No, you just don't do anything. You don't do anything. And these people get rewarded in your wildest dreams for doing nothing. Manipulating the scenario. That's what they do. Having nothing to do with cannabis whatsoever. Nothing. That whole industry has had yet to have anything to do with cannabis.
Well, there are a couple plants. There must be more than one.
They don't give a fuck. And they all have lost money as a result of how they're swarming out into the world, spending fucking unbelievable amounts of money on the stupidest things, and then recording enormous losses. What? Yeah. Read a headline yesterday that Canopy Growth is out shopping for a new CEO.
Oh, you should find one on sale.
Oh, easy. You can get them on Wish. You just pay the shipping. You can get a CEO.
There you go.
They're free. You pay the shipping. No, for fuck's sakes. Well, I'm sure that Canopy Growth is watching my show, as they always do every week. Hey, you need a CEO? I'll put the THCeo into it. Why don't you start hiring people that know something about cannabis? Or even go look to see, maybe yourself, what it is you might need to know. Oh, they'll be all right. They'll be all back growing now because it's not summer in their greenhouse. What a fucking ripoff. They haven't been able to grow weed just like it used to be in the old days when, people kind of were more reliant on the sun to grow the weed. There was dry spells. And indoor too, when it got so hot in the late part of summer, people couldn't grow and there'd become a dry spell of weed. That somehow was overcome. I don't know exactly how, but there ain't been no dry spells for a long time. In the real world. But, yeah. And they're yanking the license of some other LP. 3 of them now. All right. Bonafide, Can't Trust, and This one was what, Evergreen or something they're called here in BC. Now have got their license suspended for, they never tell you why. No. If they'd arrested us for the very same things that they're losing their license over, they'd be telling us why. But, you know, keeping the organized crime out of it. Silly. And, you know, not rational adults who are writing stories about this, too, don't even fucking think about it. Right? They just go with the status quo of what everyone else thinks. And never look at cannabis. Never, ever. Don't. You can't. Don't look at cannabis. No, look over here. Look, no. Over here. Look. There's something moving. Shiny something over here. Don't look at cannabis, because it'll tell you that it doesn't need any regulations and you don't have an industry to exploit. Or, as it turns out, customers, no concern by this fucking industry for their consumer whatsoever. They are just merely like vultures waiting to see how they can take advantage of every opportunity here. There's no cry of lowering the price of cannabis to where it really should be, and in reality should be. None whatsoever, of course. Oh, they're very happy to go right out of prohibition, take prohibition prices, and continue on upward to premium levels. Right? These will be the words, right? Because that's right out of the CEO's handbook. The word premium, right, means something to both the purchaser and the guy who's fucking ripping you off. Right? It's premium price to them. It's premium weed to me, but it ain't premium weed because, what is? Why should it be worth more? Maybe this weed that you're presenting as premium weed is just better grown weed than the other crop. And why is the other crop not grown as well? What happened there that it hasn't become premium weed? Having little to do with cannabis, only having to do with marketing. So, but yeah, I know, it's business. We be getting the business about the business from people who don't have any business being in the business, quite frankly. Tweed and fucking Tilray grew such shitty weed under the circumstances of being the only game in town. Didn't sell it. Nobody bought it. But here's another thing. Another reason why the medicinal crowd didn't buy their weed is because they didn't have to. Because they got out from underneath the prohibition of not being able to provide it for yourself. Right? So that's why upon legalization with these two companies, that it was put in place that I too could not provide for myself. 5 plants is illegal and forbidden. 5 plants. Get the fuck out of Dodge. That doesn't supply my needs. My needs are much greater than that. At very least, I have a lot of people I'd like to give weed to, but I don't. There's no way I can grow enough to give them any marijuana.
Or you can't be allowed to give it away, right?
You can give away an ounce, gift an ounce. That's legal. It conforms to the regulation that you can't.
If you sold it, would be there.
Well, you can't sell it. You can gift it. So, if I want to come over to your house and give you an ounce of weed, I can't bring any more weed. I can't bring my own weed with me. I can only carry an ounce at a time. So if I have 2 friends at the destination that I'd like to give each an ounce of weed, I would then have to make 3 trips. 2 to take them the weed I want to give them, and 1 to go get my own weed and bring it back. It's true. Total insanity. For what? It couldn't be because, I don't know, I'm torn to think whether or not the government is smart enough to have figured this all out ahead of time, or that it was just kind of a standard reaction that just went through the roof. But it went through the roof. Only because of prohibition, not because of cannabis. Really? Couldn't be. So, programs from my oppressor. I don't care. And it's based on lies. So, can't support it. Still, sorry. Didn't get it right. All you did was uncork the fucking money funnel by breathing the word legalization. And give out exclusive licenses to companies that would then be able to go sell their souls for billions. And, not provide any cannabis to anyone. Not enough to make any money at. They could make money. Lots of it. Huh. You have a license to be a cannabis producer. If you're not going to produce cannabis, maybe we just take your license away. I guess you don't have to produce cannabis to have a license, but I don't know. They will make the other companies worth less because they themselves thought that they should be worth more and not actually have any cannabis. So, no, it's tired bullshit. There's so many rules that an industry has been created called the compliance industry to navigate the rules. There's all sorts of people who will charge you money to navigate the compliance, conforming to Health Canada's regulations. So, come on around in. So they will comply, and
Sorry about that.
that's the difference to me. Hello.
Hello.
We are alive on the air.
Good thing I wore my green.
Hi, Deb. Yeah, very rare that I don't wear green.
Yeah.
Oh, you got green glasses on.
Smoking green, yeah.
Yeah. Smoking green, green glasses, green it up.
Got a weed leaf tattoo. I've always got
Yeah,
weed.
there you
I
go.
always got weed on
We
me.
know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah, just talking about all the good things about legalization.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, wait.
Oh, no, wait, yeah. Yeah, hold that narrative.
That was on Forbes' page. I read some story about cannabis in the stock market on Forbes or Bloomberg, and there's a little side video that annoyingly popped up, but they were talking about how, that to the cannabis industry here in Canada maybe isn't so fucking solid anymore. But it's encouraging that they've teamed up with Budweiser and Imperial Tobacco, and right? They were really excited by that prospect, and so yeah, it's unfortunate. But it don't matter too much, eh? It's all the same cannabis. I think that's going to come out at some point here, that like it's all the same thing here. There's no difference between government regulated cannabis than mine, other than the low quality and high price. So I don't know where it's all headed, but we'll get a chance to continue on somewhere. Marijuana will prevail, because it's eventually somebody's going to look at it. You can't have a sad scenario like this if you actually look at cannabis. It would not allow you to have this nonsense going on around it. Really. Prohibition, that's the worst fucking thing that's ever happened to this poor plant. It is the only way it is right now because of prohibition. No one would have cared otherwise. And it certainly would not have become a high-priced commodity, highly sought after by an always expanding marketplace. People want cannabis. We're partly to blame because we wanted it, of course, right? I'll pay anything. I will pay you a premium for providing me with this illegal substance. Happy to do so. And it went on for years like that, right? So, that's the only reason cannabis was worth anything to drool over from a scenario based on lies that gave out exclusive licenses to people who they could exploit that and exploit the price and everything else. The cannabis industry took everything that it has from the illegal cannabis market. One just got caught buying seeds out of the illegal market. Oh, wow. Interesting. Right? They're still getting everything. We should just offer them, we'll do it all for you. You guys don't worry about it. We'll just provide you with the weed and the seeds and the clones, and you guys will be all right. Just let the black market look after you. Just like it always has. And then we wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff. Come on. But no, that's not going to happen. Because there's too much money involved now. How did cannabis become worth so fucking much money under legalization? How did that happen? Right? No one... Wouldn't you open a store and start selling weed and see how you do? In any other industry? Wouldn't you do that? What if you want to get into the construction industry right now? You put your name on a fucking truck. You go out there. Right? You create a web page. You walk around. You sell yourself. Not this industry. They went public and scooped up billions of dollars because of the potential, because of their potential only. They didn't grow in any weed. Their potential got enormous. Same with a lottery winner in Ontario. Every one of them was called by fucking every major licensed producer in town to get and buy their license. No doubt. Absolutely. I'll bet fucking... Watch how many Tokyo smokes pop up out of that batch. Right? Because they got now billions of dollars to drag in anybody they want. What a fucking sad, stupid little industry you created. Like, really, the children could have done better. Really. Like really, it's sad in this day and age that we would think to come at it from this point of view and to be so openly corrupt, right? Oh my God.
How do kids design their own childproof packaging?
I don't give a fuck what kids think. Kids shouldn't actually even be in the equation. They're kids. They have squarely placed them there for their own protection. Not the kids' protection, their protection. From you asking any questions about it. Right? How can you refute anybody who says out loud so many times, I'm here to protect the kids? Actually, if you went to a schoolyard, if anyone went to the schoolyard and hung around and said, I'm here to protect the kids, I think you'd be arrested. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, you know pretty quick if you're ever
Yeah.
supervising the schoolyard. You know pretty quick.
No.
Why is there anyone else my height standing anywhere near me?
Why do you keep talking about our kids, mister? Mr. Health Canada. So, I don't know. That's the way I see it. Can it be gross going to get a new CEO? That should be fun. Maybe it'll be Ronald McDonald. That'd be good. At least be fun. Funny. No, I don't know. I think they're doomed. Really. Like, I can't see that they'll be able to hold all this together the way they've come at it. Which, again, is no reflection on cannabis whatsoever. I don't know what. We're going to have to go in and pick up the pieces and start growing weed. But I'm not prepared to conform to my oppressor's regime. Not yet. If you end prohibition, you don't need any of it. Cannabis doesn't hurt anybody. So what would happen if we ended prohibition? See, but you can't. It's a complicated thing. The prohibition is the forbidding of something, especially by law. Thereby, when something becomes legal, it is the conforming to the established rule. That means that you can never get rid of prohibition. You just can't. Because it's all about the law. The tricky part is the law, not anything else. But I'm personally tired of them forbidding me to have this substance that otherwise doesn't hurt me or anyone else. Fuck off, would you? Like, really? Nobody allows anybody to do that to them in their whole fucking life. Over anything. Nobody shows up at your house and says you shouldn't be eating bologna. Or anything. Right? No one's telling you that you can't have this. Not too many things. Cannabis is special. Because it was under prohibition and was seen to be a commodity to make money off of. Like, granted, the black market made millions and billions of dollars too, but they only were doing that to service me. Not because if I didn't want it, they had nothing to sell. Right? So it's the consumer who demanded it all. We want marijuana. So they said, okay. But isn't that an industry? Isn't that how every other industry got started? Hey, I'd like a house. Oh, all right, I'll build you a house. Start of an industry, isn't it? Well, that guy's done building his house. He can build a house. You go, okay, there you go. Government isn't, it's not, in this instance, it's like they came in and took over the restaurant industry and closed every restaurant. Said only now we can have government restaurants, only, to get rid of this fucking food poisoning that's going on.
Finally.
Right?
The kids.
Think of the kids that are going to restaurants and people are getting food poisoning. So we're taking it over, shutting it down, and all you can have, I don't know, what they would say, Subway. I'm sure of it. Every
Like a lottery to open
Yes.
Subway.
every restaurant will be a Subway. That's what they've done with cannabis, their presentation. How fucking insane is that? And nor would anybody in the world want that to happen to anything that's out there. They lie about the regulations. They lie about the dangers so they can make the regulations. You pricks, still doing it after all these years. So, it'll all come out in the wash. In the laundered money. So, on the bright side, oh no, there isn't one. You see a bright side? Anywhere? Is there a bright side? A silver lining. Oh, you know.
Well, cannabis is still cannabis.
No, well, you can go into a store and buy a joint.
Oh, that's not the same.
If you go into the right store, that store only, and that weed from those people who all conform to the idea that cannabis is dangerous. Huh, interesting. Why would I shop there? No one does that in the world. You don't shop at a fucking store that supports lies about the clothes that they sell. No one does that, of course. So, it's ludicrous. And the second worst thing beyond prohibition that's happened to cannabis is the cannabis industry. For exploding like this financially and monetarily in and around this poor little plant. It didn't deserve any of this. Doesn't offer that at all. None of it. It's not worth that. It's just a stupid little plant. It's pretty easy to grow by the proof of look at who's been able to grow it. Pretty easy to grow. Anyone can do it. And we have all this time and shown easily for many, many years that it is possible, and we don't need your help. It doesn't hurt anyone. Why the fuck would anyone care? Except that the accountants and lawyers, I guess, at Health Canada figured out a way that it was going to be worth billions. Huh. Kind of evidenced by the fact that their buddies all got involved instantly and the word went out. So, they're not even good at creating an industry. So, okay.
That's how you lose money selling.
That's how you lose money selling weed. Being them. No. It's a scam. The whole thing's been a money scam from day one. Just an avenue of taking advantage of the scenario and bilking as much money out of it as you can. And that being okay is what's astounding me. Like, this isn't fucking 1890 with the gold rush and railroad, for Christ's sakes. I thought we'd come a long way, but I guess not. Business ain't like that. It's the same as it was then. Out to grab as many dollars as you can. So I don't know how anyone can be involved in the new industry really with a conscience to know. You know, quite frankly, there's a guy sitting in jail right now in Manitoba for possessing 85 grams of weed that he didn't buy from fucking Tweed or whoever else had a license. right? In jail. 85 grams. Oh, wow. Sounds like prohibition. Still in place. Who knew that both prohibition and legalization together were worth so much more? Like, dude, who knew? Astronomical amounts more, right? Crazy, but that's what we're still up against. And until the next time. Yeah, maybe next time we'll just talk about cannabis. It'll be more fun and positive. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm always thrilled to be here. Do tune in to all the other shows here on PotTV each and every week. Damn near every day. Just about. Yeah, and if not, there's, YouTube. You can watch anything you
No, there's still other things that we
Oh,
share.
there's still other stuff.
Plus, what about last Wednesday? If you weren't here,
Yeah, well.
there you go.
So, yeah. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, I'm Marijuana Man. Peace. And pot.